What's good, family? What's good? Just want to come on here and talk for a little bit about prevention and about some of the duties and responsibilities that I believe every human has and that we've been neglecting, and oftentimes it's out of ignorance. So let's get into it. Prevention, an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. One more time, an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. You have a responsibility to learn about your body and about vitality. I don't use the word health, I use the word vitality. That is, to me, your level of aliveness, of how your energy is flowing. I don't use that word health because, what is health? We say people have good health, but, what is a measure of health? They use, clinical data, clinical analytics to say that you're in good health. There's people that are obese and their lab work turns out well, and they say, well, I'm healthy. My doctor says I'm healthy. I don't use that word. I use vitality. You have a responsibility to understand how your body works so that you maintain a high level of vitality. A high level of vitality. I'm not an advocate of going to the doctor, but if you are, I think it is in your best interest. In fact, I think it's your duty to learn about your vitality so that your doctor is more of an advisor, more of a supplement than your God. And people may feel, some kind of way when I say that, but check this out for a second. You go to your doctor, you don't know nothing about health, but you got symptoms going on. You are relying and putting all your faith into this one man or woman to save you. Doesn't that sound like what you do with God? Just think for a moment. We see doctors people that go to them see doctors as gods. They're relying on their livelihood and their survival on this man or woman. So I think in order to remedy that ideology and that mindset, that perspective, that framework, it is of the utmost importance that you begin to do what? You have to learn about your body. You have to learn how your body actually works. And, there's a lot of debates on this, but you can start with the Western view of it. That's fine. Learn A&P. I'm more of an advocate of a different framework. I won't say it really even has a direction, birth site. It's not Eastern or Western, but it's to me, it's just facts and proven. But understand that the body is an electric organism. Understand how it's a series of pipes. Understand what your organs actually do. Understand the symptoms, why certain symptoms arise, and understand the difference between fixing a symptom and fixing a cause. Again, understand the difference between fixing a symptom and fixing a cause, and at least learn logical thinking to the point where when you have a symptom, you can at least start pinpointing a cause. You may not know how to remedy the cause, where you go to a doctor or a holistic practitioner or, an herbalist for. So you can start, figuring that part out, but at least understand the logical understanding, right? So if we're talking about, lethargy, you're very tired, you're extreme fatigue, what is that telling you? Let's think about it logically. There's a number of symptoms, but we'll just go with your blood first and foremost. If you're having low energy, you feel tired and heavy and all that good jazz, well, your body's a series of pipes, right? It's a series of pipes. That's what veins and arteries are. That's what nerves are. They're just pipes that certain things flow through. Electricity flows through the nerves and blood flows through the arteries and the veins. So if you're feeling that, that heavy fatigued feeling, most likely your veins and arteries, your pipes are clogged in some way, or your nerves are clogged in some way. It's constipation. Not constipation where you can't poop, but constipation as far as there's an accumulation of some kind of mass there. There's too much lymph there, and it's telling that you need to change some of the things that you're doing. So in order to get rid of those things, you got to change some of the things that you're doing. You also got to get rid of that accumulation that's stuck in there, right? So you need to clean your blood. It's really simple. You need to clean your blood because you have an accumulation of things in your blood that's causing it to be syrupy, too thick, or it's you have debris in there. Debris that's basically toxins that's caused them to form in the blood. But you think about things logically in that fashion once you understand how the body works, so that when you go to the doctor, the practitioner, the herbalist, you can kind of tell them what's going on and y'all can have a conversation. That's the important part, everybody. We have to have conversations with the people that we're asking to help us heal. They're not healers, and I'm sorry, you can feel however way you want about it. If you call yourself healer, they're not healers. They are information givers. Because they don't heal you. The herbs they give you heal you. The suggestions that they give you heal you. And ultimately, your body is the one that does the healing itself because it uses the things that they give. So they're not healers. They are information givers, right? You are the healer for yourself. So that's why you have to have conversations so that you can actually receive the information and understand the information, right? Because once you understand the information, you can understand how to apply the information, and then you can prevent any issues from arising later. There's a saying, and it's not necessarily health related, but it's mental related. I think it was Frederick Douglass, but it's easier to raise strong children than to repair broken men. That is saying preventative measures are more effective. How can you prevent something before it happens? You have understanding of the subject at hand. You have to understand your body. It's very tiresome to see people going to the hospital all the time. It's very tiresome to have people. I do this with my family. I do this with friends. They tell me the medicines they're on, and I ask them, what is that medicine for? And a lot of times they say, it helps lower my blood sugar, it helps lower my blood pressure, it helps, remove clots. And I say, how? What is it actually doing? They say, I don't know, my doctor gave it to me. Do we understand how detrimental that is? Do we understand the psychology behind that kind of laziness when it comes to yourself? That is psychologically lazy to take something because somebody told you it and you have no idea what it's actually doing besides treating some symptoms, but you don't even know how it's treating it. And when I say that, like some medicines treat high blood pressure because they may cause the heart muscles to relax, right? So they don't beat as hard. Some are vasodilators, which means they open up the blood vessels. So they are bigger and they're wider. It reduces the blood pressure. But people don't even know about these kind of things. Some things are, antibacterial. They're removing bacteria. And I'm making those faces because not going to have that conversation right now. But that is how it's treating some of the symptoms that you're having, because it's removing some of the things that are clogging you. We have to take a more proactive approach. We are the first line of defense. We are the first line of defense to your body's vitality, into your mind's vitality, into your spiritual vitality. You are your first line of defense. And the best way to avoid war is prevention. We think ahead. We can stop going to war with our bodies and with our environment by being proactive and using preventative measures. I want to say I read that at one point. A lot of the things in the medical industry they can be treated with preventative things. Eating a right diet, reducing your stress, getting enough sleep, moving your body. We have to start taking a more proactive approach to the way that we treat our bodies and to health in general. This can be overstated. It burdens me and it makes me feel sad. Well, it doesn't make me feel sad, but I feel sad when I see people going to doctors and the hospitals for things that they could prevent on their own, and they're just, honestly, they're either ignorant, which is not a bad thing. Ignorance just means you don't know, or they're too lazy, which means you're not applying what you know. And you cannot go to the hospital, y'all. You don't have to go. And look, if you got some serious diseases, I'm not telling you what to or what not to do. That's not my goal in life. I'm not a licensed medical person. I just understand the body. I feel my own ailments. You don't need to do that kind of stuff. But if you do, learn things. And if you don't learn things, learn your body. Learn it. Read books. Meditate. Be, focus when you're just sitting and being. Feel your body. This is, kind of going down another path for just a moment. I'm not telling you to just meditate and get all the answers that way, because sometimes there's a smarter way to do it. There are people that have achieved higher levels of spiritual attainment that have written these things down for us. I'm not talking about just religious. There are people, there are spiritual masters, ascended masters that understand the body on a better level. They've given you the blueprint. They're giving you the guideline. I'm not saying wholeheartedly just read it and follow it, because, of course, I just told you, you don't want to treat them as your God, but you use them as a guide. They're not your God. They're a guide. Your doctors are not your gods. They should be guides. And you should have enough knowledge in your mind and your own discernment to understand if they are a good guide or not. And you got to use your own discernment whether to implement some of the suggestions that they give you or not. You have to take your health in your own hands. And now I'm going to get something deeper when it comes to prevention and why this is so important to take the proactive approach. When you keep delegating your duties and responsibilities to upkeep yourself and to take care of yourself, you're becoming psychologically lazy, and it's easier to influence you. It's easier to take control of your life, because you're not taking control of yourself. And if somebody's taking care of you, you're going to be privy, or you're going to be under the direction of whatever it is they want to do to you. Understand that. When you don't know nothing about health, when you don't know anything about health, we don't understand your body as a whole, whatever the doctor tells you becomes law in your mind, because you don't know any better. Therefore, you are under their guidance. And you're not just under their guidance, you're under their strict control, more or less, because humans have an innate desire to live. We want to live. And if you don't understand how to live, you're going to listen to somebody that you perceive that does understand how to live. Therefore, you're under control because you're not under your own guidance. And that goes for everything. You should understand the things that you partake in, the things that revolve around your daily life. It doesn't have to just be medicine. Meditation, your spiritual practice, the religion that you believe in, if you believe in one, or your spiritual system, take the time to study it so you understand what you're digging into. So that when you talk to somebody that you perceive to have more knowledge than you, or has a higher level of mastery, you can at least have a conversation instead of just having a lecture being given to you. This is how you prevent manipulation. This is how you prevent your withering away of your own free will. And I can guarantee y'all, a lot of people have given away their will. And I'm not saying they've given away like, here you go. Take control of me. I'm listening to you. But it's very subtle. It's minute. And it's via manipulation. And it's also via your laziness. People's laziness. Understand that, y'all. If you don't know what's going on, you're going to ask somebody that you think does. And whatever they tell you is truth, because you can't refute it, because you don't know. Medically wise, health wise, mentally wise, spiritually wise, you don't know. If you don't take the time to know, you don't take time to learn, you don't take time to read, you don't take time to meditate. You got to make it a priority to understand the world that you live in. Come on, y'all. You got to take the time to work on your preventative measures. You have to, if you want to live correctly, if you want to live by your own free will, if you want to govern yourself. And some people don't want to govern themselves, and that's fine and dandy, but just know that when you don't govern yourself, you're abusing your existence. Whether you want to say it or not, you're abusing your existence because you came here to govern yourself. That's why you have free will. That's why you have the mind that you do. That's why you have the opportunities to learn so much. That's why you have the opportunities to practice. That's why you have the opportunity to control your actions, your mindset, and your daily habits. You're abusing your existence when you don't practice free will and self-governance. And a lot of us have not practiced those things. And we're getting into the age now where it's becoming more prevalent, it's becoming more obvious, and now it's up to us to choose to do those things. So I'm gonna stop this little rant because it was just on my heart to tell y'all, but we gotta work on our prevention. Take up arms first for yourself. And look, check this out. I'm not saying the police are bad necessarily, but look, learn to fight, learn how to defend yourself, learn the art of communication. Why? So you don't always have to depend on somebody else to fight your battles. Shit, buy a gun if you need to for self-defense in your house. And if you don't believe in guns, grab knives, grab bow and arrow. Grab whatever weapons that you feel like you need that will allow you ample defense if somebody breaks into your home, so you're not having to call the police. If somebody is threatening you, have your own skills ready so that you can defend yourself, so you don't have to keep calling on people. Pick up books, learn for yourself, so you're not having to depend on somebody else educating you or your children. Look, this is not the gloat. I got a master's in accounting in college. I could tell you what they do in college. If you don't already know, they give you books and you read books and you have a conversation with the professor, or the professor tells you something that's in a book. Shocker, right? So we pay money to get told what books to read, and then we get taught what's in those books by the professor, but they still want us to read those books. They're not really educating you per se. They're helping you understand that information, but ultimately you're reading books. So read for yourself. Find the areas and the subjects that you're interested in and that are necessary for survival, and study them by reading them and applying the exercise or applying the knowledge so that you can get a better understanding, right? And there's a difference between theory in application. That's why experience is so important. Experience is the bridge between theory and application, all right? Because I can think, if I jump out of this window at just the right angle, and as soon as my feet hit the ground, if I bend my knees and roll and make sure that my right shoulder hits the ground at just the right angle, I can dissipate all the force that came from me jumping straight down, and I can do this without damaging my body. That's a theory. I want you to apply it. It's pretty hard after that. Please don't do that for real, y'all. And if you do, I'm not liable for your action. But that's the difference. That's parkour, by the way, those kind of movements. That's the difference between theorizing and actuality. You have to experience things so you can bridge that gap. And it's important that you begin working on bridging that gap between theory and actuality, because otherwise you're going to be subject to theoretical knowledge and things that may make rational sense but are lacking in logic in some area, way, or form. All right, and I'm going to give y'all one more example of it. If I say the sky is blue because it's reflecting the water in the ocean, well, that's a rational argument, but does it make a lot of logical sense? That's something for you to debate, and that's something for you to think about. So it's important that you begin to establish logic, and the way you can establish logic is via experience. It's how you establish a firm idea of what logic is, and you can begin to move from the theoretical, which is the unmanifested, is just the thoughts that may or may not make rational or make logical sense, in the actuality, which is applying that thought, applying the theory, and seeing if it actually does stand in the real world. And to me, understanding this is the whole idea behind prevention, right? The only way you can prevent something, if you know it, the only way you can know it is if you understand the theory behind it. The only way you can really know it is by implementing the theory. And when there's issues, you kind of go back in that little circle. But I'm kind of going on a rant now. I just really want to emphasize prevention to you all. And if you're catching this live late, watch it from the beginning so you understand where we're at right now. Prevention is the best thing in the world. An ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. An ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. Right? And if you don't believe me, I want you to jump off a cliff, and then midway, I want you to reverse and go back on top of the cliff. Can't. You can't. You may be able to fix your body up, but you can't undo that damage. You can't undo it. So learn to prevent things. Get the knowledge. Learn for yourself and consult with people. Have conversations with people. Don't allow them to just give you all the answers because they may not actually have the answer for you. They're just giving you their perspective. With that being said, y'all, love, light, peace. I'll talk to y'all later.